What's up guys, this is John from CSL, and today we're talking about the biggest new shooter available, Valorant. Like all of you, we had been dying to get our hands on it, and now with the beta out and keys freely available, we wanted to put something together to get players acclimated and effective as quickly as possible. So for this video, we're going to be breaking down all the immediately playable characters and their kits, to hopefully save you the trouble of throwing away precious rounds just to learn, and get you deadly and fragging. All available characters in Valorant fall into one of four distinct classes: Initiators, Controllers, Duelists, and Sentinels. Each character is granted one passive ability that they get for free at the start of each round, two abilities, which must be purchased each round, and one ultimate ability, which can be charged by killing opponents or collecting ultimate orbs scattered throughout each map in set locations. Initiators are equipped with abilities that allow you to challenge angles, setting up your team to take ground or ward off attackers. Controllers use their skills to cordon off territory, providing their team with advantages for holding areas, whether that means limiting vision or forcing opponents out of position. Duelists are versatile and deadly, equipped with skills for damage and mobility, giving them advantages in direct combat and exceptional kill potential. Sentinels are defensive specialists, with movesets designed to support the team. Whether that's covering flanking positions or providing heals or revives, they are essential to a team composition. When players first start, they are given access to only 5 of the 10 total playable characters, with the opportunity to unlock all 10 as they play through the game, complete contracts, and gain experience. First up, we have Brimstone. Brimstone is one of the game's controllers and can be quite difficult to challenge when attacking any area. His passive ability is called Sky Smoke. Sky Smoke is a long-range smoke grenade, and not just one, but up to 3 smokes at once. When activated, Brimstone pulls out a tactical mini-map of the arena. He can specify up to 3 different areas in the map to call down a smoke cloud that blocks line of sight. These smoke clouds last a pretty long time, so be wary if you decide to pass through the smoke. His 2 purchasable abilities are STIM Beacon and Incendiary. Using STIM Beacon allows Brimstone to throw a device on the ground, creating an area of effect that boosts all players within range, letting them shoot faster than normal. But be careful, as the beacon will buff not only allies, but enemies as well. When using Incendiary, Brimstone pulls out a grenade launcher, which fires an incendiary grenade that detonates once it hits the floor, creating an area of fire that damages players. It can be strategically angled off of walls to control doorways and hallways without exposing the player to enemy fire, and can deal lethal damage to players that linger in the fire for too long. Brimstone's ultimate ability is called Orbital Strike. Like Sky Smoke, Brimstone pulls out the tactical map and chooses an area to launch the strike. Upon activation, the selected area becomes engulfed in a massive flame, dealing damage over time to players caught in the area. The strike area is huge, and getting caught in the blast can quickly spell death for any player. Next, we have Jett, one of the game's duelists. Her kit is all about mobility and positioning, making her exceptionally dangerous to face off against. Jett's passive ability is called TAILWInd. Activating TAILWInd instantly propels Jett in the direction she's moving, shooting her forward if she's standing still. This move can be a saving grace for players caught in the open, allowing them to quickly dash back to cover, out of a corner, or even out of the range of an impending ultimate without risking taking fire. Jett's purchasable abilities are called Updraft and Cloudburst. When using Updraft, Jett is immediately launched into the air, allowing the player to capture high ground on unsuspecting opponents, or even pass or peek over obstructions like smokes and walls. Updraft can also be comboed with Tailwind to quickly move up and over obstacles for playmaking attacks or life-saving escapes. Cloudburst provides Jett with 3 throwable projectiles that burst on contact with the surface, providing a brief, vision-blocking cloud. These projectiles can be curved around corners by holding the ability key and guiding the projectile with your crosshair. Players should take care, as these clouds do not last long and must be maneuvered around carefully. Jett's ultimate ability is called Blade Storm and can quickly turn the tide of any round. Upon activation, Jett pulls out 5 incredibly accurate throwing knives. This ability has 2 modes of fire, a regular shot that throws 1 dagger, and the alternate fire throwing all remaining daggers. Dealing a devastating 50 damage for a body shot, these daggers can quickly dispatch enemies, and each kill recharges the amount of remaining daggers to full, allowing for massive multi-kills when played effectively. Pair this ability with Jett's incredible mobility, and activating Blade Storm can spell victory when in the right hands. Jett also has a hidden ability, adding to her already incredible mobility. When Jett jumps, she can glide. Simply hold the jump key and she will glide in whichever direction the player is moving. Pair this hidden passive with other moves like Updraft, Tailwind, or Blade Storm to deal death from above. Next up is Sova, our first initiator. Armed with a bow, Sova is a master of angles, with arrows that ricochet and tons of visibility that can spell disaster for opponents looking to engage. His passive ability is called RECON Bolt. Sova pulls out his bow and fires an arrow that activates upon collision, sending out 3 waves of radar, marking enemies hit by the waves. Holding fire can charge the projectile's distance, and pressing alternate fire can add ricochets to the projectile for strategic shooting around corners or even over walls across the map. Take care with your arrow placements, as opponents can destroy these arrows with gunfire, and a quick hand can eliminate a recon bolt before it has an opportunity to send out a scan. Sova's purchasable abilities are called Shock Bolt and Owl Drone. Shock Bolt acts much the same way as Recon Bolt, allowing players to control both ricochets as well as distance with fire and alternate fire. The difference being this bolt detonates upon a final collision, creating an explosion of electricity that damages players caught in the blast. Proximity to the blast dictates the amount of damage, with a direct hit dealing a devastating 90 damage. When using Owl Drone, Sova launches a controllable drone from his arm to scout ahead. The drone flies slowly, however is armed with a dart that can mark enemies, revealing the location of the player hit by the dart. The drone can be destroyed by enemy fire, but can provide valuable intel for your team when used properly. Sova's ultimate ability is called Hunter's Fury. Upon activation, Sova pulls out his bow with 3 long-range, wall-piercing blasts of energy. When we say long range, we really mean long range. Your minimap shows the length of effect and can be useful in pinpointing enemies. Each blast deals massive damage and reveals the location of enemies caught in its line. While the timer of the ability is active, it can fire up to 3 blasts, so players will be wise not to waste time. Hunter's Fury is basically a death sentence for any opponent marked with either Owl Drone or Recon Bolt. Next is our first Sentinel, Sage. Sage is an incredibly valuable character for any team. She is the only true healer so far included, and the utility of her abilities is tough to match whether defending or attacking. Sage's passive ability is called Healing Orb, and is exactly what it sounds like, a heal. Sage can use this ability to heal either herself back to full health with alternate fire, or a teammate to full health with normal fire. The heal is over time, but a full heal can remedy a costly mistake and keep players in the fight. Sage's purchasable abilities are called Slow Orb and Barrier Orb. When using Slow Orb, Sage throws an orb projectile that detonates on landing, spreading a massive sheet of slowing ice. Players caught in the ice are incredibly slow moving and create sounds with each step alerting to their position. This orb can also be bounced off of walls for strategic placement around corners without risking damage. Getting caught in the ice can easily spell death, as any player stuck in the ice is an easy target. Barrier Orb lets Sage place a massive ice wall that players cannot pass through. Players can manipulate the wall by hitting the ability key or by holding alternate fire. The wall consists of 4 blocks, each of which can be destroyed with damage. The wall will not last forever, but long enough to force players in another direction, wasting precious time. The wall can also be used to lift players to height that otherwise might not have been attainable, providing access to unexpected angles and plays for creative and aggressive players. Sage's ultimate ability is Resurrection, another self-explanatory ability with incredible tide-turning potential. With the ability equipped, fire with your crosshair hovering over a dead ally to bring them back to life and back in the game with full health. That's right, a full health revive. It's like adding an additional player to your team. With the kill potential in Valorant, that can turn a game around quickly. The final playable character available for new players is Phoenix, another duelist. However, where Jett is built around mobility, Phoenix is built around sustainability. Phoenix's passive ability is called Hot Hands. Equipping the ability allows Phoenix to throw a fireball that explodes upon hitting the ground, creating an area of fire that damages opponents as well as allies, so be careful where you throw it. Hot Hands can be bounced off of walls for strategic placement around corners, and can also be thrown underhand as well as overhand, with alternate fire and fire respectively. Most importantly, however, if Phoenix stands in the fire from his ability, it will restore his health, keeping him in the fight. Phoenix's purchasable abilities are called Curveball and Ablaze. Curveball is a flare orb that is thrown in an arc around a corner, either to the left or to the right, with fire and alternate fire. It detonates shortly after being thrown, blinding any player who sees the orb. Players affected by the blind will have a white shine around the head and eyes, indicating they are blind for prioritizing targets. Use caution with Curveball, as missing the corner or swinging on your blind too quickly can blind yourself as well as allies. Blaze lets Phoenix throw a flame wall in a line, obscuring vision and damaging players who pass through it. Much like Hot Hands, the fire from Blaze will heal Phoenix where it hurts all others, so it can be used to reset if in a pinch. Phoenix can also curve the thrown wall by holding fire and guiding the wall with the crosshair, which provides some cool play potential for both capturing points and creating lanes for positioning. Phoenix's ultimate is called Run It Back and allows Phoenix the ability to survive lethal damage while the ultimate is active. Upon using, Phoenix places a marker on the ground. If he receives fatal damage or the timer of the ability expires, he will instantly teleport back to the marker with full health, allowing for kill trades without cost or even spike recovery without sacrificing a player. There you have it, all 5 of the immediately playable characters available in Valorant. If you guys find this breakdown helpful, throw us a like and a sub so we know to make more of these. We'll see you on the battlefield.